Thank you so much for all this great energy. Thank you so much for being here with us today. I don't know about you all, but I am still kind of pinching myself and asking, is this for real? And is this for real? Yes, it is. It is for real and very special. And we need to start by saying a big thank you, but maybe a little bit of housekeeping before. It's not quite in the script, but when we are done here with our little program, we're going to start the tours, but the staff is going to dash back in the building to do something special, like a before and after kind of situation. So don't be surprised if people start running that way or that way. All right? You don't need to rush yourself. Just make your way through the building. In our community room, we have a little, some refreshments, coffee there. There's our big poster, the rendering of the building. I would love if you didn't have a chance to sign it when we had the groundbreaking last August. Yes, just last August. If you didn't have a chance to sign, then please take a moment, sign your name, and then in one of the counters, you're going to find little cards that if you would like to leave us a message, we would love that. We would love to have a chance to hear from you, how excited you are, or whatever you want to tell us. Thank you for all being here. Thank you so much to the boat company, not only for being the phenomenal crew that made this come through from the construction side, but also because they are our sponsors for our grand opening. So thank you. Special treats from both and special work from both. We are poised for growth. When we began to design this building, we knew that we needed to grow. We included extra rooms that we thought we would not even furnish, and we were just expecting to grow into the building. But guess what? Things changed, right? During that same time, as we were designing the building and planning for start of construction, we were reinventing our delivery of services in all our programs. Our counseling went 100% telehealth. The wellness screening for that first year went 100% virtual. The mental health ministry also went on Zoom and other ways of virtual communication, and the need for services only grew and grew. We're going to hear a little more about that. Throughout all of this, even before the building was ready, we were growing our capacity to serve. And now, lo and behold, after 2+ years of a pandemic, we need every bit of space we have. And just this week, we onboarded a temporary worker that we ended up putting in a conference room. Can you believe that? I'm not going to start a new capital campaign, but we have space to grow into the future. Just a heads up. You will receive today, when you go into our new building, you will receive our annual report showing the numbers from 2021. Counseling sessions increased by more than 17%. Unduplicated clients served increased by more than 8%. The Wellness Screen program has seen unprecedented growth in the need for their services, the number of kids being identified. It's everywhere. And that's why we are here, and that's why we did this. That's why we started this campaign, to make room, not only physical room, but room for services, room to talk about the important mental health issues, and to allow us to talk out in the open about mental health, so that the more we talk, the more we listen, the more people get the help they need. So, we know it was the right time, and you help us make it happen. And we wouldn't have done this without our great construction partners from both. So Tom, you have the mic now.
Thank you, Rosangela. And one of the things that is inspiring is the support of the community on this project. And I reflect upon the study that the French political scientist Alexis de Tocqueville did in the mid-19th century when he came to America to understand what this new country was all about. And this idea of desire of self-governance and liberty, which coming from Europe was a very new and different experience. So one of the quotes from de Tocqueville that I think is really important and something that I think we can always be inspired by, and the things that America does really well, is that Americans make a great deal of real sacrifices on behalf of the common good. And this is de Tocqueville speaking. I've seen hundreds of instances in which they hardly ever failed to lend a faithful support of one another. This idea of advancing the common good means creating opportunities for a better life for all. And I think of this project, and as Rosangela talked about, is opening up and talking about the mental health challenges. You may have forgotten, but last month in May was Mental Health Awareness Month. And this is impacting everyone. There is emotional and mental well-being of our children, families, and communities. And I think we all know that hundreds of millions of people in this community, or in this country, are struggling with anxiety, depression, thoughts of suicide. The state of mental health at work, as an example, in 2022, 40% of workers experienced mental health issues, double the year before. And now we're just coming out of this pandemic. And as Rosangela said, this was built for the future, but the challenges that we have in our local community are still very great. A number of you have been involved with the Imagine Fox Cities efforts, and they've been studying the mental health situation of our communities. And sadly, that statistic is not particularly encouraging. So for people ages 18 to 23, over 10% scored a poor as related to their mental health. So the need is there, the building is ready, and I'd like to thank all of the people that were involved, the planners, the donors, the workforce, but most importantly, the people that will occupy these spaces and provide much needed care and support for individuals, families that will build a strong community. Rosangela?
Thank you, Tom. Now I would like to introduce Gary Sobalski, the chair of our Capital Campaign Cabinet, and he's going to bring us some important information about the journey of the campaign.
Thanks, Thank you, Rosangela. Good morning.
Morning.
Well, here we are. All right. For those of us, staff and volunteers who have served the Samaritan Counseling Center in various capacities for the past several years, this is a big day. It's an emotional day. We've known that the facility they were working with and working in was a barrier to what was needed for the agency to pursue its mission to connect mind, body, and spirit so individuals, families, organizations, and communities thrive. And so after years of dreaming, forming a vision, studying and planning, organizing, and nurturing and developing relationships, only to be confronted by a dreadful worldwide pandemic, then assessing, reevaluating, asking key questions to some key community partners, then rededicating our efforts, we arrive at this milestone moment, humbly blessed with this new building, and eternally grateful for all of your faith and trust in this project and this agency. The Samaritan Counseling Center finally has a facility that meets the quality of its staff and services and has made room for the proper welcome and care for its clients. And there hasn't been a more critical time in our community, in our world, to provide greater access to mental health services than right now. I have several thank yous I want to share. I first want to thank Lynn Keller, our campaign honorary chair, for her leadership and serving as a catalyst for the project. I want to acknowledge our capital campaign cabinet, my Samaritan partners, Josangela and Jane France, Director of Development. They deserve a special commendation for putting up with me for the last couple of years. Allison Fiebig, Joanne Fisher-Chastain, Jack Fry, Jane Latray, and John Walschlager, who has a future in TV if he ever wants to pursue it. Plus advisors Tom Bolt and John Stelmacher. Thank you all for your dedication to this project, your wisdom, and the partners you brought to the effort. And I want to acknowledge the efforts of Andrea Spieth, our consultant for this project. Andrea conducted our feasibility study, helped us get organized, helped establish a timeline for fundraising activities, and cheered us on along the way. Thanks, Andrea, for your dedication and your wisdom. Also, thanks to my fellow Samaritan Counseling Center board members, both present and past, for giving the green light on this project, and for bringing it your resources and contacts, and for providing a proper welcome for the staff to the new facility. It's been my honor to serve alongside you these past several years, and I know you share my joy seeing the excitement of Samaritan staff as they move into this beautiful building. I certainly want to mention all those from Bolt Corporation. Thanks so much for all of your work. They were a joy to work with. We truly felt like they were just as excited about the project as we were. We also want to thank them for their patience and understanding throughout the project as we navigated through the pandemic to raise necessary funds to begin construction. And finally, most importantly, thanks to all of you and the rest of this community for placing your faith and trust in this project and this agency. I want to recognize our lead donors, Lynn and Robert Keller, Bolt, U.S. Venture, Community First Credit Union, and Mary Beth Nienhaus. As of today, this project has attracted nearly 400 investors, individuals and families, businesses and foundations. Obviously, it simply doesn't happen without each and every one of you. There's still some work to be done. We've raised 95% of our goal of $2.85 million. And we are dedicated to raise the remaining funds by the end of 2023 so that Samaritan can avoid taking out a long-term mortgage. Because of the past support of our community, the Samaritan Counseling Center has been able to provide services for over 50 years to this special day. Their new charge and their responsibility is to now honor your investment and to have this new building be a beacon for those seeking help for the next 50 years. Now it's my pleasure to introduce to you someone who provided real impetus towards this project with a $250,000 matching grant, Mary Beth Nienhaus.
Good morning, everyone. Okay.
Try to speak straight into
Yeah. Some of you know my past history, but I am an educator and a coach for over 33 years in the Fox Valley area. And the well-being of young people has always been a priority in my life. Now more than ever, programs like the Wellness Screen in schools are vital. The program currently offers a screen to K through 12 students at 48 schools in 14 districts in our region. In 2021, it expanded to all 5 school districts in Calumet County. This proactive preventive program is essential to hopefully avoiding a tragedy here in our surrounding communities like what happened in Uvalde, Texas. The Wellness Screen program is providing and preparing to go nationwide as it goes and expands to other states. The Wellness Screen is seeing a significant uptick in positive screen results. Tom mentioned a little bit about that. Since the pandemic began, more students identify with having mental health issues, including anxiety, depression, suicidal tendencies, and self-harming behaviors. Samaritan is here to make sure that the safety and the well-being of our students remains a top priority. I was inspired to offer a matching gift because, as interested as I am in being in youth mental health issues, it was clear to me that Samaritan is in a unique position to reach out to our entire community. And today we are dedicating this fine new building, and I knew when both construction received the bid, I knew that this was going to be a first-class operation. Then I found out that my former student, Brian Watlett, was one of the key people in the construction area, so I knew for sure that there would not be any glitches within this building. Or else. So I would like to have all of us give a big round of applause to Brian and all the construction workers. And Tom, I was just thinking, because they did such a wonderful job, I think you should consider giving them each a raise. Brian told me I should say that. And this day is certainly a day of celebrations, and so I'm thrilled to announce that 153 individuals and or companies, many of you are here today, have stepped forward and you've pledged over $250,000. So I'm happy to report that the match has been met.
Thank you so much, Mary Beth. I have nothing to do with the ask for a raise, okay? But I endorse it. So I would like now to bring Lynn Keller and talk to us a little bit why she is so vested in our mission and our work, and why she and Bob, her husband, decided to invest so much of their resources to as our lead donors for this campaign. So Lynn, would you take the mic, please?
There. And actually, it was me. I just used some of his money. First of all, I'd like to say how special I feel for having been asked to chair, honorary chair of this program. And I want to tell you how my journey began.
Speak a little closer to the mic.
Maybe. Then I go cross-eyed. I'll see if I can read my notes then. My mother-in-law found out that my brother-in-law was paranoid schizophrenic, and there was no help. With tears in her eyes, she stabbed her little hand and she said, "That is about to change." And that turned out to be what we now know as catalpa, which my husband and my daughter have now taken over along with the Keller Foundation. But I knew then that it was the mental health area that I wanted to get involved with. And I was invited to the luncheon. I knew this was the spot. But I want to tell you one little thing that happened with my brother-in-law that I didn't have any place in these notes to put, so I'm going to put it here. I was visiting with him one day, and he said, "You know, it's not any fun to be crazy." And he said, "And I'm offering nothing to the world." So I explained to him how Catalpa was developed because of him. And he said, well, I guess my sickness has helped others. So I want anyone that has mental illness to know that their experience can help others too. So back to my real script. I realized that one organization could not do it all. So I was the chairman of the board for CHAPS until it dissolved under a different leadership. I also recognized that people that were suffering from mental illness that couldn't quite make it needed some help, and I started the Ascent program. And I'm now starting another program for foster kids that are under the age of 18. So when they're kind of flipped out of the program, they can be flipped out. They'll be ready. These organizations will give Samaritan even more resources to help their clients. I have great faith in Samaritan and their leadership. I put my money where my heart has led me. This campaign has brought many to the table, but we aren't quite finished. Due to the current environment, a bit more is needed, so I am pledging another 100,000. And I'm expecting you to get out your checkbooks. Thank you.
When we named the campaign Making Room, that's what we wanted. To make room for us to talk about this. The more we talk, the more people who need the help will find their way. So thank you, Lynn, for making this so overt, so out there for us. Let's talk about it. Let's use this opportunity and make more rooms for those conversations at the dinner table, at the workplace, anywhere. Let's talk about it. And let's support each other and help our friends find resources in the community like we can offer. So thank you, Lynn. Thank you for this extra gift. Thank you for the appeal. Thank you for taking out your checkbook at some point today or in the next week or so and making an extra gift or a new gift. I know you were moved by this and you want to make a difference. And I'm here to tell you, all these people who have invested in Samaritan now can tell you that their return on investment is huge. It's in lives. So I hope you join us in this. But more than with your checkbook, I would love for you to join us as ambassadors for Samaritan and as spiritual supporters, lifting up in your prayers or however you practice your spiritual disciplines or your spiritual journey. Keep us in your minds. And now, besides this huge announcement, we have another one because there's too much happening there and so much, and we need to get that out. So, Jane?
Thank you, Ro, and thank you, Lynn. Gary, you mentioned retiring the debt by 2023. We are 4% closer in the last 10 minutes. So we are sitting now at 99%. So help us get to 100. So I'm Jane France. I'm the Development and Communications Director. I would like to shout out my amazing team who helped bring us to this day. Heather Steinberger, I don't know where you are right now. There she is. She is our Development and Events Coordinator. Our amazing front desk staff, Stephanie, Sarah, and Pahua. Sarah's daughter, I'm not sure if she made it, the amazing Grace. Her name defines her. She worked tirelessly this week behind the scenes doing whatever we asked her to do, and it is just so helpful. Jen Parsons and your wellness screen team for helping with all the last minute polishing and getting everything ready. I want you to know as you go through the building today, we moved in May 31st. So moved in, unpacked, got organized, signage up, the whole 9 yards in 10 days. So it is very exciting. So moving is an opportunity to explore identity, since everything that has our address on it needed to be changed or updated. So we surveyed key stakeholders to determine if we needed to do a facelift or a name change, or where were we at with our identity. We learned that Samaritan is well known for compassionate, high quality care. We have a solid reputation. We're also known for our spiritually integrated care. However, we need to do a little bit of work on our messaging, because religion, faith, and spirituality mean different things to different people. So we're putting a little more definition to what that means to us, and you will find an explanation in the annual report that you'll receive when you head in. We could find no real reason to change our name entirely, but we felt it could be shortened to reflect what people most often refer to us as, which is Samaritan. We are also more than counseling. As you heard Mary Beth speak about our Wellness Screen Team program, we are that in the schools to our K-12 kiddos. We are the mental health ministry. We provide, we equip pastoral care professionals to deal more effectively with mental health concerns in their faith communities. So for those reasons, we decided to shorten our name. And in just a minute, we're going to pull that sleeve and show you our new identity. I have the distinct privilege of introducing Jeff Amstutz, who is the CEO, founder, creative director, brilliant creative guru from A to Z Design. I have a history working with Jeff. Jeff's worked with, his work has influenced many, many of our nonprofit agencies in the community. So it was thrilling to work together again, and he's going to share just a bit about our new icon.
Thank you so much, Jane. A to Z is thrilled to have been a part of this brand journey, and my amazing team who has helped make this happen with our partnership with Samaritan. A great brand identity does three things, all right? Here's branding 101 for you. It needs to be appropriate, it needs to be distinctive, and it needs to be consistent. We took a deep and left no stone unturned as we considered where this amazing organization has come from and where it's heading in the future, and then how to best represent it through this rebranding effort. The current brand did its job for many years, but it was time to give Sammy, the current icon, a little makeover. So we did. So now Sammy will feel right at home in this stunning new facility and will better represent this organization as it grows and serves our community for decades to come. So let's do a little reveal. And this just might be a little bit of your comic relief for today, but let's give it a shot, all right?
Oh, I wish we had drum run. Woo! There we are, Samaritan. To the point. To the point. And there's Sammy. We are gonna have to be creative in how to do some more stuff with Sammy. Genderless Sammy, which is the most, which what we represents what we are, inclusive, welcoming to all. So now, for a moment of dedication, I would invite Steve Savides. Reverend Steve Savides is the pastor of the First Congregational UCC Church here in Appleton, which is the church where Samaritan started, or Appleton Pastoral Counseling Center in 1970, and then Fox Valley Pastoral Counseling Center until 2006, and Samaritan Counseling Center until now.
Thank you. It's a privilege to be able to speak at this wonderful ceremony of dedication. as Ro just mentioned, the roots of Samaritan extend more than 50 years ago into the basement of our church and two offices that were provided for the use of Samaritan Counseling Center. At that time, it was a pastoral counseling center, and the first one in the Fox Valley. It would outgrow the space provided, and it would expand its mission to find a better place in the community where it would serve clients of many faith traditions or no faith traditions at all. Yet always true to its roots, the spiritual concerns of the clients were included and taken seriously. Today, we see Samaritan in full flower, strong and purposeful in its mission and in our community. A word that's sacred to many faith traditions is the word salvation. The Greek word from which it's translated is soteria, which means restoration to a state of safety, soundness, health, and well-being. A better translation of soteria would be the word wholeness, the well-being of a fully integrated mind, body, and spirit. That goal of wholeness is what binds our community together. Schools and businesses, government officials, faith communities, good friends, healthcare services, good neighbors. That's why Samaritan has been a vital mission partner to our church and for so many others as together we seek the health and wholeness of our community. I have personal reasons to rejoice in Samaritan's growth and vitality, and not just because my partner Dee is a therapist here. So often as a pastor, yeah, she deserves it. So often as a pastor, I have been privileged to hear of a parishioner's challenge, struggle, even anguish over issues related to the health of their marriage, family, or self. I praise God that Samaritan has always been there as a trusted partner for healing, health, and wholeness of those dear to me, to our faith family, and to our community. And when I recommend to those in need that they reach out to Samaritan, I know that Samaritan's first response will not be, "We can't fit you in," and their first question will not be, "How will you be paying for this?" Like Jesus' Good Samaritan, this Samaritan has blessed us with kindness, surprised us with generosity, healed us through the thoughtful and wise application of care. Samaritan has always stayed true to its mission of restoring its clients in our community to soteria, to wholeness. I'd like to invite you to join me in the blessing of this building. Raise a soft hand of blessing onto the building, if you would, and with those who would like to join me in an attitude of prayer. Creator, healer, and sustainer, I offer a prayer to dedicate this new facility to seeking wholeness in mind, body, and spirit, and to the healing of the people and families of our community. May those whose lives are shadowed by trouble find sympathy here. May those who are sleepless with anxiety find serenity here. May those who are listless with sorrow or despair reach out in the darkness so that their spirits may be strengthened and their hearts gladdened here. Now I invite you to put a hand on your own heart. Like the Samaritan of Jesus' parable, let each one of us here this morning rededicate ourselves to reaching out to others and offering wholeness. Amen.
Thank you, Steve. True to my style, Jane, may I flip a little bit on the program here? All right, because the program says that we would do the ribbon cutting and then I would talk about this box here and then we would start the tour. But I guess once we cut the ribbon, everybody wants to go in, right? There will be a ribbon. So here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna talk about what this is here, right? And then we will do our ribbon cutting with our representative from the Fox Cities Chamber. So 52 years of life, that's of existence. That's what Samaritan marks this September, right? And this is a big milestone for us. So this is a good time for us to prepare something for our next 50 years. So we announced this, and maybe you brought this with you today, or maybe you want to come back and give us something to put in our time capsule. This is our temporary time capsule. Ooh, we already have stuff here. So what we didn't have a true time capsule because we don't know how much we are going to get and how big it needs to be. So after the ceremony, at any time, if you want to come back during the week or whatever, we are going to hold this a little, and then we announce what we do with this when we place it safely. But place your stuff for the time capsule. If you want to write us a note, a letter, put something in it, please join us as we do this. All right? After we cut the ribbon, everybody's going to be welcome to come in. You're going to get a little, I believe you may have gotten the guide in you have already the map with you, so it's going to be easy for you to find your way around. Look for people. After we take our pictures, we're going to come back into the building with a little surprise of our own. And then you can ask us questions, tap anyone on the shoulder, ask about programming, and just enjoy the rest of the morning. There's some refreshments, as I said. Walk your way to our break room in the back. Look at the scenes, and we have pictures on the walls. Those pictures are pictures produced by staff, so our own very own artists decorating our space. And if you want to have a piece of Samaritan with you, those pictures are for sale. For a suggested donation of $50, for sale donation, we figured it out, right? But it would take a little piece of Samaritan, and perhaps the author would autograph it for you, right? And if you are curious, the 4% missing is $28,500 to reach our $2.85 million goal. So thank you for being here, and now let's have what we have been waiting for and get that ribbon going.